And she came in and she was talking about Memphis barbecue and how it's the best barbecue city in the world and this, that, and the third. And she just sort of just an offhanded comment. It's like, yeah, and real Memphians don't go to a lot of these places. Real Memphians just cook at their homes. And like that's kind of what Memphis is.
Homebodies.
They're homebodies.
Homebodies.
It's cold.
I'm really cold. My hands are icicles.
I think, and I was thinking about this morning as I was getting ready. Shower thoughts. I've been doing a lot of thinking in the shower. I think I've hit that age. We never had a full day of fall.
Nope.
We had
No, we didn't
moments.
have a full month of fall. Or a full week of fall, I should say.
We had a day of fall?
We had a day of fall.
Okay.
There was a day where I remember walking around saying, oh, it's a beautiful fall day.
I
and
remember-
fall evening.
I remember saying that in the morning, and by afternoon, it's like, oh, it's
too hot.
It's hot. This is not fall weather. And then in the evening, being like, oh, it's fall again. I don't remember a full day.
It was fleeting.
Okay. So how many days of fall do you think we had?
Like 3.
3 days of fall?
Less than 7.
So we're in agreement. This is not fall.
No, this is winter.
This is winter.
We have
Even winter doesn't start for
catapulted
another
into
like
winter.
2 or 3 weeks, but this is winter.
No, anytime it's in the 20s, it's winter.
Okay.
Like I looked on my way out to my car this morning because I opened the door and was hit with freezing cold air. And I said, I bet it's below freezing. And it was. It was 24 degrees. That's winter. There's nothing fall about that.
No, I mean, we just
My feet are cold.
So we had 3 full days of fall, and then we had fall for a couple of hours, right? So from like 5 in the morning till like 11, or from like 6 p.m. till about 9 or 10. Right? Yeah. That's tough. That's unfortunate.
I don't know if you know, but I'm running a half marathon on Saturday,
Really?
so I'm looking at the weather extensively.
Maybe I'll come downtown and be on one of the routes.
You gonna cheer?
I might. I
That'd be
don't.
sweet.
I don't have anything else to do.
Can you wear this hat?
I will.
That would be nice.
Maybe.
I need anything to give me joy.
Did
But it's
I
supposed,
send you?
it's supposed to be 53 and sunny.
Oh, turn
And
up.
I'm banking on that 50.
Turn up.
But we start at like 8. So it's gonna be.
Yeah, it's not gonna be 50. It's not gonna be 53 at 8 o'clock.
It's sure not.
That's the high.
What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday, December 3rd. Gonna be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, where were you when Cam Spencer dropped 51 points for the Memphis Hustle? We will get into his big night. Monday Night Football was big for my Bo Nix agenda and the Denver Broncos. Mike Wallace is going to join us in the second segment. He is in Dallas for tonight's Grizzlies-Mavs game. It is the NBA Cup. The Grizzlies are alive. We'll talk to him about how they can try to go after a 7th straight win. Will Coleman will join us. We'll talk about the 16th ranked Memphis Tigers and Penny Hardaway's insightful comments from his radio show last night here in Memphis. We'll end with a little TV Tuesday, what we're watching. You know what we say. I forgot to tell you what we say, CJ. Are you ready for it?
What?
Happy birthday, Luke. Our Luke.
Oh, it's his birthday?
Luke.
Happy birthday, Luke!
Happy birthday, Luke.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Southland Casino Hotel is helping you navigate to Santa. Win your share of up to $340,000 in free play or a 2024 Lincoln Navigator. Here Comes Santa kicks off November 24th. Get 1 free entry and earn additional entries for weekly Saturday drawings. Don't forget the grand finale drawing on Saturday, December 21st to win up to $5,000 in free play or a 2024 Lincoln Navigator. Win big during Here Comes Santa, only at Southland Casino Hotel.
Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly for help quoting. Call 800-522-4700.
favored. Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzlies stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis. Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Looking for a fun way to get your child active and involved with the Memphis Grizzlies? Ball out on the Grizzlies home court at Junior Grizzlies Game Day Clinics. Presented by Ortho South. Get your game ready for the big leagues. The first Junior Grizzlies Clinic tips off November 25th before the Grizzlies versus Trailblazers game. Take your child's skills to the next level by signing up at grizzlies.com/Junior Grizzlies. That's grizzlies.com/Junior Grizzlies. Don't miss out.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, let's have a little fun now. I wanna let it all out. That's what it's all about. Cause I deserve this feeling, having my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Happy December. CJ comes decked in full Christmas joy, Christmas cheer. You're embracing the reason for the season.
'Tis the season. I went into my closet. Well, not my closet. I went into my drawer. I have a Christmas drawer full of clothes. And like, oh, yeah, I'm breaking them all out. So, yes, now it's time. Yesterday, I wore the Stitch Christmas shirt. Got the Deadpool shirt out. And it's fitting because Deadpool was one of my favorite movies of 2024. Wow. When we do our year in review, I'm sure Deadpool will be high up on my best movies of the year list. And I broke out the Christmas hat again.
I love the star on the top.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful, beautiful sight. Thanks for bringing the cheer this morning. A lot of cheer last night. I was just minding my own business watching Bo Nix throw 93-yard darts in the Broncos' Monday Night Football win over the Cleveland Browns when I was scrolling through Twitter and there was a tweet from NBA G League alerting me that Cam Spencer was, quote, unconscious, and at that point, he had 46 points with 5 minutes to play for the Hustle last night. He had made 11 threes, so I clicked on the little link, and it took me to the end of the game and the sweet, sweet sounds of John Roser and Eli Savoy, and I got to watch the end of the Cam Spencer Memphis Hustle experience as Cam Spencer, with the game tied, made a great cut to the basket, had a finish to give the Hustle the lead, and then with my very own eyes, got to watch Yuki Kawamura pass it to Cam Spencer for his 12th three of the night. Cam Spencer had 51 points on 75% shooting. 75% shooting. Yeah, I'm
that's
excited.
good.
I'm ready for it.
That's
Give
good.
us another one. Cam Spencer. We got the full Cam Spencer highlights from last night. We waited so long for Cam Spencer to come back. I was revisiting our media day conversations where we found out Cam Spencer had the ankle injury, and I was like, oh, what a bummer. What a typical experience for a Grizzlies fan. Another player dealing with an injury. We awaited. We've seen him in spurts, but now getting some serious run with the hustle as a two-way player. And he's mostly known and anticipated for his scoring outside, so he makes 12 threes, which is absurd. But I was really impressed with his ability to get to the basket and not just be a three-point shooter last night. This is awesome. Like, may I remind you that Cam Spencer was the 53rd pick in this year's draft. Cam Spencer, national champion. Cam Spencer, who in 4 of his 5 college seasons shot over 44% from 3, and they let the Grizzlies get him at 53, CJ? Look at this man. Look at this man.
Yeah, this is exciting. This is good
I'm
stuff
excited.
right here. Anytime somebody's going off in your minor league system, it's like, oh, that gives us some hope about the future, or whatever the future might look like. And so you're talking about Cam Spencer, who's at the wing position. And the Grizzlies, unfortunately, this year are pretty loaded at the wing position. But 1 year.
What's one more?
1 year,
What's one more?
Somebody, or even later on this year, you might make some deals, some trades. You might need somebody to come in here. How many times have we seen like an NBA team in the middle of the season make a trade that leaves them with like 7 guys on their bench?
Right.
And then you end up struggling through the course of the game. Everybody's winded or something like that. That could happen this year. And then boom, you just call Cam Spencer up for a game or two until you get the new guys acclimated, and Cam will be able to step in here and perform. What's to say a bunch of injuries don't befall this team, right? And then it's like, where do we go? Like, you could go reach down into the G League and pull a 50-point scorer, a playmaker, somebody who is just tenacious on the court, a true competitor. You go down there and grab him, and you can bring him up and maybe weather that storm a bit better than you have in years past last year. Right, like I think that, and we say this about everybody, and I think it loses its luster because we say it about everybody. That's a competitor right there. Like, that's Cam Spencer's best trait, best quality. Is
Remember
the fact
when he said he would die for a game?
And did you?
And was serious?
You believed him.
Yeah.
Because he would. Like, this Cam
You don't
Spencer,
laugh at that. You go,
no, you're like, oh,
understood.
Okay. Yeah,
Noted.
you're a true psycho, right? Like, that's what you are. Cam Spencer's best trait is his ability to go out there and just compete, and that's what he did last night. And when you're competing against dudes who, listen, this one game I don't want to make too big of a sweeping judgment. Cam is probably too good to be in the G League, right? Like, and so when you're playing against dudes who you're that much better than, if you're a competitor, you're going to go out there and you're just going to lay into them and let them have it. 51 points.
75%.
No, that's not supposed to happen.
You don't do the C's get degrees in shooting percentages in the NBA. 75% is wild behavior. And it's just crazy because when you think back on like the excitement of Cam early in Summer League and where he comes in and he plays like an absolute dog and a psycho, like you said, and he's kind of getting the majority of the buzz, almost usurping the buzz of the Grizzlies' 37th pick not 37th, 39th pick in Jalen Wells, and you're thinking, is Cam Spencer, the guy on the two-way contract, better than Jalen Wells? Au contraire, now you have Jalen Wells, who has the 3rd most total minutes on a Grizzlies team that is 14-7 and 3rd in the Western Conference, and you had Cam Spencer injured for the early portion of the season, and now he's doing this in the G League. It's another hit. And I get it, like prisoner of the 51 points on 75% shooting moment, but the Grizzlies front office ability to find talent late in the draft continues to be a massive, massive positive for this team, because not only is it Cam Spencer this year at 53 and Jalen Wells at 39, you go back again on this 14-7 Grizzlies team, a rotation piece who has been out in Vince Williams Jr., who was the 47th pick, and another expected rotation piece who's been out in Gigi Jackson, who was the 45th pick. That is mining for gold late in the draft, and the Grizzlies have seemingly struck. And when it comes to how the new CBA operates and contracts and trying to get guys on cheaper contracts and the importance of that, these are just huge wins across the board. So I'm excited to see Cam. I've got to get out to South Haven. I had a weird premonition yesterday because our dear friend Jenna, who works here at the Grizzlies and does so much great work for the Memphis Hustle, the queen of the Memphis Hustle, we'll call her. It was their Winter Wonderland game, and she posted all these pictures from it ahead of the game last night. And I was like, I should really get my booty in the car and drive to South Haven and experience Hustle Winter Wonderland. They gave away these sweet beanies that I now don't have because I didn't go because I was glued to the couch watching Broncos-Browns on a Monday night when I could have been in South Haven watching Yuki Kawamura and Cam Spencer. What was I thinking? These are decisions I need to be better at.
You were talking about second round picks. Those, I think you can throw Santi in there also.
Sure, yeah.
Not a second rounder, a super late first rounder. Was he 30?
And an unknown.
Was
Yes.
he 30th?
Yes.
Like that's one pick from the second round, and you talk about a team that's 14-7, and what Santi Aldama has meant for this team. Just his improvement year in, year out. That's the other thing that this franchise has done a really good job of here in the past 4 or 5 years. I'm going to say Desmond Bane's class. What's that, 2021? Right? I think that's when it started to be, these guys can develop people as well. You think about what Santi was, not just when he came in, but what he was last year. And then you look at him now, and it's, okay, he's much more confident shooting and scoring the basketball. That I think that could be, you could say, that's to be expected. That's what he was doing well when he first came into the league. You know what else he's doing well? Rebounding at a really high level right now. One of the better rebounding bigs, one of the better rebounding power forwards in the NBA right now. And he can play the three now. He's quick enough laterally to keep dudes in front of him enough to not be somebody who's just getting blown by out there on the perimeter. A lot of that has to do with the player's mentality. Are you going to commit to these things we're telling you to work on? But a lot of it also has to do with the franchise's ability, the program's ability to get players to buy in and to develop those skills and those traits. So it's not only that they're finding dudes, diamonds in the rough late in drafts, they're developing them as well. Jalen Wells didn't come into the NBA and people were like, that's a good defensive player there. No, that was the knock on Jalen Wells. Mm-hmm. And he bought in and they saw him buy in like, okay, kid, we're going to throw all these assignments at you and see what you can do. And he's held up just fine at this level. Like that's really encouraging to see. And like you said, because of the way the CBA sets up and the way that the salary cap sets up, you don't want to go into the tax. You don't want to go into luxury tax and the second apron. You don't want to do any of that.
Super duper luxury tax.
The mega megalopolis tax.
The Sharknado tax.
You don't want to do that. So having guys
megalopolis
having guys who you can keep at a reasonable price and salary, that matters a ton. And this is a small market. You're not going to be able to lure those free agents in the way that a larger market might be able to. Yeah. So having them already in your franchise matters.
You want to know what you can't teach either?
What?
Wearing a T-shirt under your jersey. You can't teach that. And the Grizzlies have 2 of them. Vince Williams Jr. wears a T-shirt, and Cam Spencer wears a T-shirt.
I had a buddy.
And those guys are true psychos.
I had a buddy who wore a T-shirt under his jersey back when that's what we were doing. Mm-hmm. Like in the early 2000s, I feel like everybody would wear. First off, everything was super baggy, and you had the baggy T-shirt on underneath your jersey. I had a buddy of mine brand himself. He took a hanger and he branded B on his arm, and his parents didn't know about it. And so he's like,
so he wore the T-shirt to cover it?
He wore the T-shirt to cover it. There were a couple of times when, because I wouldn't wear a T-shirt, he was like, hey, you got a white T-shirt? I need it. Why? Because I forgot mine at home and I don't want my parents to see the brand. So, yeah.
As a girl, the most exciting part of your young basketball life was when you got to graduate from wearing a T-shirt and you just got to wear a sports bra. You're like, yeah, I'm just wearing a sports bra under my jersey now. I'm tough. I'm a woman. I'm a woman's basketball player, not a girl. Yeah, it was a whole thing.
You didn't want to wear.
You don't even think about.
You could wear a sports bra and a T-shirt though.
I mean, you could, but why would you do that? You wanted to.
I forgot who I'm talking to about T-shirts.
The taxi. Okay. Because you brought it up.
Okay, my ass.
CJ has been giving me hell all morning because it's cold outside, and I'm in a hoodie, but I don't have a T-shirt on under my hoodie. I never wear T-shirts under my hoodies. I wear a jacket over my hoodie when I'm outside.
That is psychotic.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
I think this is a women-men difference.
No, it's not.
And I need to know from all 8 women who watch our show.
I know women. Clip it, Luke. We're asking the women. Do you wear t-shirts under your hoodie?
No.
Yes.
Why would you do that? My hoodie is so soft. This is from 31. Hold on. I don't want to mess up the name. Because
don't mess up the name. Even if it's a soft
she's the
hoodie,
best.
you put a t-shirt on underneath it. I've got soft hoodies. I put t-shirts on underneath the hoodies.
Okay, this hoodie is from 31 Sundays.
There we go.
She sent me the
Can
greatest
you move the camera so we can
package
see the
of
hoodie?
Memphis
Not the
related
camera. Move
thing.
the
shirt
that
I was
is a
wearing yesterday. It's a
that
nice
is a
hoodie.
nice tiger.
It's a nice Tiger
It's a Memphis
design.
Tigers hoodie?
Yes.
That's nice.
It's a
That's
nice
dope.
Tigers hoodie. She has Grizzlies gear, 901 gear, awesome hats, all the works, a tote bag. She got me a Rise and Grind throwback tote bag, which was pretty cool. This hoodie on the inside is so soft. Why would I put a t-shirt on under the soft hoodie so that my belly couldn't feel the softness of the hoodie?
Because it's cold
You
outside,
psycho?
Jessica. What do you mean?
It's like wearing a blanket. Why would I put something between me and the blanket when I can just wear the blanket?
So, wait. When you're underneath the blanket, you just don't wear a t-shirt underneath the blanket? What are we talking about here? It's cold.
Yeah, if I'm in the comfort of my own
It's
home.
cold outside. Like, what are you doing? And then you come in complaining about it being cold. Because you don't wear enough clothes. You got to layer up.
Oh my God. Okay, Dad. God.
Don't put me in this position. It's bad enough I'm your mystical, magical Negro. Do I have to be a father figure also?
This was not a lesson that I thought you would be teaching me.
Gosh.
So far in the chat, everyone says nothing under the hoodie. I didn't think of it as raw dogging a hoodie. I'm just not wearing a t-shirt. I am not Cam Spencer. I am not Vince Williams Jr.
Bridget wears a t-shirt under the hoodie. JD's wife is yelling at you. Put a t-shirt on under the
Lauren
hoodie.
said, what do you do if you get hot? That's a great question. Remember when I came in here the one day and I was in a hoodie and the air conditioning was broken in the summer and it was 100 degrees?
So why are you wearing a hoodie in the summer? Go ahead, though.
Because they're comfortable in the morning, and I
Okay.
made my husband come and bring me a t-shirt to change into. So you bring up a good point. You bring up a fair point. Normally, I would just roll up my sleeves in that case.
Jessica is covered in sweat. You guys don't know this
This
because
is
it's
painful.
behind the scenes stuff. It's like, yo, I'm not gonna be able to do the show. Sweat is starting to like pour down from her
It was
hair.
hot.
She's like, yo, Chris, come bring me some clothes.
And he did.
And he did.
He's a good husband right
He's
there.
a-
And he
he's a-
married me even though I don't wear things
He's
under
an
my
MVP.
hoodies.
He's the most valuable partner, man.
He
We don't
is.
make them like that. I hope you
No.
cherish and protect and honor that man.
Me
Put a
too.
damn t-shirt on. It's cold outside, Jessica. I don't know what to say to you. Like, come on, man.
Well, just because we went on this tangent about t-shirts under hoodies, and just because we spent 15 minutes talking about the greatness of Cam Spencer going off for 51 points on 75% shooting, don't think that at some point in this show, I will not be talking about Bo and the Broncos.
All right, like, yeah.
But not right now, because we have to get to Mike Wallace, who's
You
in
can-
Dallas.
Hoodie, sweater. Listen, I'm not a lady, but let me explain some things to you ladies.
Stop.
Those things are baggy enough. You don't need a bra. So if you want to go hoodie, t-shirt, no bra, fine. I know women who do that, right? Like, I got a mother, I got a wife, I got sisters, right? I understand.
I have a mother, I have a daughter, I have
listen,
a wife.
Jessica, that means I'm an expert on women. I don't know what that means to you. Like, we had an
No, it
election
means
about
you
this.
care about women.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, if you have
Okay.
one in your life, obviously you care about
and
them.
all I need is one.
Just one.
Just one. Just a
Yeah.
mother or a sister or an
Yeah, yeah,
aunt
yeah.
or a grandmother
Just
or a wife. Okay.
Name a woman.
Just, ooh, you put me on the spot here. That's tough. That's tough. Yeah, so hoodie, t-shirt, no bra, fine. Hoodie and no
You
t-shirt
can't
though
wear
is
the t-shirt with no bra, because then if you do take the hoodie off and you just have the t-shirt on, the whole point of wearing no bra under, and I do have one on today.
Nobody is
the whole point-
asking
I
that.
know, but you brought it up.
everybody's assuming that you're in here with one on.
I also hate clothes.
I understand.
I hate that we have to wear clothes
I
in this
understand.
world.
Well, whose fault is that?
I don't know.
Eve's a woman.
God, blame it on another one of us. All right. I can't believe. Do you have a shirt on under your sweater?
No.
Okay, so no for sweaters. Chris will sometimes wear a t-shirt under a sweater, which I also think is psycho.
I had one on under this, but like you could see it up here was the wrong t-shirt, so I took it off when I got in. But yeah, usually
You would.
I would have. I'm big into undershirts. Also, I need something
Yeah,
to
I
soak up
guess
the
that's
sweat.
What Chris is more an undershirt
Yeah,
than
so
a t-shirt.
but yeah, put an undershirt on under your hoodie, Jessica. Don't have your toes out in the cold, Jessica.
My toes are not out.
Cover your legs when it's cold outside, Jessica. Put a hat on outside, Jessica.
I've at least started covering my legs when it's cold outside. When I was but a wee little girl growing up in Colorado.
Where it's
Not
real
only
cold.
did I want
Where it's real cold. Like it's cold and then it's real cold.
Oh yeah, you put on that little Abercrombie denim mini skirt with the Ugg boots. That was the look. So I'm built tough. I went through that so that I can live in a world where I don't wear anything under my hoodies. You guys don't get it. I need to figure out if it's a regional thing. I'm gonna do some research.
All right, we're gonna do research.
All right, we have to get to Mike Wallace. It's an NBA Cup. I can't believe we haven't even talked about the Cup. Who are we? It's an NBA Cup day with the Grizzlies in Dallas to face the Mavs. The Grizzlies still technically alive in NBA Cup action, but it would take a lot. We'll talk to Mike about that, about Cam Spencer's big night, about what he has seen from the Grizzlies. He has a piece up at grindcitymedia.com about the Grizzlies finding their footing and climbing the Western Conference standings. We'll get into all of that with Mike when we come back.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
I can't tell you how many people texted me and thought it was the funniest thing ever that you were sitting on the front row in your jersey.
Yo, no.
You were wearing a Tony Allen jersey on the front row. They're like, yo, tell him to check in.
That joke was smeedy. I told Tia, I said,
Yo,
man,
I
you
did
should
have a hoodie on, though. I mean, a sweater on.
I told Tia, you should have sized up on that joint, man.
Yo, shout out to Robin Hood, man.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
It's the top 5 worst teams in the NFL. I think the Panthers are the worst team in the NFL.
I got the Saints number 1. Ha! Let's put the Aints up there. They're terrible.
I'll take the Titans as my worst team in the NFL. If they played Will Levis, they're for sure the worst team. Maybe in NFL history. Might be worse than the 0-16 Lions if they play Will Levis.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Goldberg announces he's going to have a retirement match in 2025, and he said this on College Game Day.
We know you're trying to ride the coattails because the 2025 is supposed to be the year of John Cena. Goldberg, I have a message for you, my guy. We don't care about your retirement match. Your retirement match was 3 years ago. Go somewhere, go away.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Who will lead the Grizz in steals this season?
I'm going to go with Pippen for steals this season.
So I'm going to go with Jaren.
I'm going to go, as long as he's in the rotation, I'm going to go Jake LaRavia for total steals, and I'll have Marcus Smart in my back pocket for steals per game.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Yellow laces, really bright yellow primary color. You got black on the trim and on the edges.
I gotta get 'em.
And you got some red there as well. Look at that right there, Mike. Look at that right there.
Man, look at that G. Look at that G, boy. That G is moving strong right there, too, man.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
want to give a special shout out to one of my friends and one of my friends only, which is my dear friend Janet, who, if you remember the Beyonce story, you know Janet well. But she's the only one with the correct take on this. She said, "You're lucky if I wear a bra under my hoodie." We are the same. Everybody else is stunningly on the side of wearing a t-shirt under a hoodie. Yes, in case I get hot. Yes, in case I get hot or sweat. Yes, I have to layer. What if I get too warm? I always overestimate how cold I am and then I get hot. Jessica, don't make that mistake again. Jessica, of course you wear something under your hoodie.
I like that their reasons are completely different from
Your
mine and the
reasons.
reasons I think of the chat. I don't want to put anything on the chat, but my reason, I want to be clear. It is cold outside. One layer is not enough. You should put a t-shirt on underneath the hoodie. That's my point. But all of that is true as well.
Theirs is all related to
being hot.
And most of them have an experience. Like this one friend, my friend Nicole said, once freshman year, I didn't wear a t-shirt under a hoodie, and I was so hot in my chem lab, and I couldn't take it off because there was nothing under. I was overheating, and ever since I learned the lesson that you need a tee underneath for these circumstances. I didn't learn that lesson when it happened to me this summer. Anyway, I'm
also,
cozy.
who's wearing a hoodie in the summer? You're just an odd duck. Mike, t-shirt under the hoodie, yes or no?
It's a great question, man. And we were talking about it during the break, and I'm always t-shirt under hoodie. I'm always t-shirt under hoodie. So, Jessica just has a whole bunch of young friends who went through young menopause or something, right?
It's true. That's what it comes down. That is absolutely what it comes down to.
How hot are you getting if you went? Like, it's not that thick of a layer to go through that much heat and cold and sweat. But
mine is all related to the coziness of the. I judge my favorite hoodies based on how. Like, that's why I recycle hoodies so often, because they lose their fluff on the inside, but I love the feeling of the fluff. It makes me feel extra warm. If there's a layer between the fluff and the skin, what are we doing here? You want to know how we got on this topic, Mike?
But that makes a lot of sense, though. Because
Thank you.
Treat your hoodie as a robe, almost like a bathrobe.
Exactly.
You need that touch on the skin. I get that.
You get
but
it.
most people don't look at hoodies like that, though. But I got
most people aren't wearing robes in the public either.
We don't get to wear
like
robes,
in the
so
comfort,
this is the closest
in
we
the
get.
comfort of your own home. Yes, knock out the robe, put the robe on. You don't need anything on underneath it. Also, it is cold outside. Nobody's walking around in their right mind in a robe with no shirt on outside right now. Okay, a hoodie is different.
There's a couple people. You've been in downtown Memphis.
I said right mind, Mike. Did you hear me say right mind? I said right mind. Also, I don't know who the dude is who kicks it on the corner of what's his Peabody Place and BB King or 3rd Street, but that guy's killing it with the body paint. He's incredible. He goes from pink to green.
Yeah, he was pink the other day.
Yeah, it's
very
wild.
wicked coded.
Oh, yes.
He's big on the wicked codedness. We talked about this because we were discussing how the Grizzlies have not one, but two absolute insane humans who still wear t-shirts under jerseys, which is a good thing. Like with Vince Williams Jr. and Cam Spencer, that is a immediate indicator that they are something different, that they are built different mentally on the basketball court. And I'm curious, Mike, you're in Dallas with the team. Where were you when you found out Cam Spencer went off for 51 points last night?
Man, I was in the same place I am right now in my room, and I was scrolling through social media, and I thought it was like a mistake at first. And just because of where I saw it first, right? I didn't see it from the official channels first, but then when NBA G League's official's Twitter account retweeted it and the NBA did it, I was like, oh, this is a real thing. And then you see Jaren and some of his teammates respond to it, and you're like, wow, this is absolutely nuts. I was glad I had a chance to look at the highlights too, man. I went back and looked at the highlights, and I was like, this dude was just literally on fire on the court last night. And it just shows the kind of shooter that he is. And when you think about what Cam Spencer is doing, and we really hadn't seen much of him yet, and then you would look at what Jalen Wells is doing, and we have seen a lot of him. And then, Zach Edey obviously is going to have an impact once he gets back on the court. Man, they hit a home run with that draft class, no question about it. And we're not even 25 games into the season yet. I'm confident in that.
Mike, the Grizzlies are going to have a 15-man rotation.
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
18-man rotation. They're just going to call dudes up from the G League and run them in.
Yeah, however many games there. What is it, 50 How many games can the two-way guys play?
50, right at
50.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
bring Yuki Kawamura in at the end. Bring Cam Spencer. And if the Grizzlies keep playing the way that they have, they could roll with their latter half of the rotation, latter portion of the roster, I should say, because they keep beating teams by double digits, Mike, and they've won 6 in a row. We just saw a 4-game homestand where they took care of every team by double digits. They have a chance for a 7th straight win tonight against the Dallas Mavericks. Before we get into that matchup, just what has stood out to you the most in this run for the Grizzlies as they have moved their way up in the standings, now 3rd in the West?
What stood out most to me is something that's really puzzling. It's that we haven't seen Desmond Bane really get on track and sustain what Desmond Bane's capable of doing. We haven't seen John Morant have just a monster, scoring game that hasn't been needed. We haven't seen, we have seen Jaren Jackson Jr. put together, that stretch of durability that kind of evaded him throughout earlier in his career. He's played 19 straight games now since coming back. So some of the things that have been questionable about this team in terms of consistency, durability, and the ability to have this kind of depth behind them, they're answering those questions. And then I think more so than anything else, Marcus Smart's ability to accept coming off the bench and still thrive in that role without it being any kind of issue. I think that's really what underscored this winning streak, because he played some of his best games of the season during the winning streak, and he certainly has turned the tide defensively for this team, which got off to a struggle on that side of the floor earlier this season. So those are the things that I see in this Grizzlies team right now that has made them stand out.
In your latest mic check up on grindcitymedia.com, you quoted Marcus Smart in saying, "We're coming." And it does feel like a statement has been made by the Grizzlies. And for Marcus, coming into a new role, coming off the bench, and just because he's coming off the bench now doesn't mean it's a forever thing, but in the moment, after a stretch of, I think it was 157 straight starts in his career, this is different for Marcus Smart. What have your conversations been like with him as he has adapted and thrived in this new role as he's come back from first injury and then illness?
Very, very professional. Very professional, very measured. He's not the jolly, hey, I'm a joke around and have a lot of wisecracks in the locker room guy. There are other guys on the team that can handle that. But when it's the media's turn to get into the locker room, Marcus is stoic. He's right there, ready. He's dressed. He's like, okay, come on, guys, let's go ahead and knock this out. And then he's really deliberate in what he's saying and how his messages are coming across. And this isn't what he would want, but this is what he accepts that he has to do. And I have to respect him for that, because you got to be a grown man in this situation. And I think one of the things that you have to, and I'll talk about this later on the pregame show too, is that one of the things that you have to understand is that in order for this to have worked, Taylor Jenkins had to lay the groundwork ahead of time to have conversations that were honest and transparent with Marcus at the very beginning coming back from the injury. So for them to be able to have the constructive criticism and the hard conversations early, it set the tone for Marcus to accept it. And then when you follow that up as a coach and you say, hey, you may not start because I want to do it this way, but you're going to be a finisher because of what you can do in this league. He's finishing games. He's being in there in the moments where the games are going to be ultimately decided in the fourth quarter. And I think that kind of trust is helping Marcus as well too. And right now it's working. And I think this could be a long-term type situation if Jalen Wells continues to play well and the Grizzlies continue to thrive in that first unit.
And don't you feel like if Marcus Smart can do it, anyone can do it? Like, how does that set a tone for everybody embracing maybe differences in minutes, differences in roles on any given night? Because this team has proven in the early quarter of the season, the depth is a plus, but within that, it's not a guarantee of who's playing the most, who's getting the most shots up on any night as well, especially in the offense with how the ball is moving and assists all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, I could think of two other guys that jump to mind in terms of the sacrifice that they're having to make. That is almost a Marcus-style sacrifice. Marcus has the most years in the league when it comes to having to do this, and he did it. But then when you look at a Zach Edey, right? Zach Edey is your lottery pick. He comes in, he starts from day one. And then he has to come off the bench for Brandon Clark. Now, when you line up Brandon Clark's what he's doing statistically and what Zach Edey is doing, you would take Zach Edey's numbers every day. But it goes a little bit deeper than that. It goes, okay, how is Brandon Clark impacting everyone else and what they want to get to versus what Zach Edey's doing? So Zach has had to buy in and make that sacrifice. I do believe Zach Edey will be the long-term starting center for the Grizzlies. You also look at a guy like Scottie Pippen Jr. You know, when Ja Morant is playing, Scottie Pippen barely gets minutes. And the minute that Ja Morant has to sit, Scottie Pippen is playing like an all-star, right? So it's almost like if I can be able to do this and go from one extreme to the next and make this kind of sacrifice, everybody else can do it. And you're seeing that around the board. And it started over the summer. Taylor Jenkins had to sacrifice some members of his coaching staff in order to get to a new staff that allowed them to do different things. And it wasn't a knock on Taylor necessarily as much as it was, okay, here's what this team needs to do. And he's had to sacrifice some roles. Some coaches had to go from defensive strategy to offensive strategy and vice versa in order for all of this to work. So, you know, it's something that this team has done across the board since training camp opened.
Yeah, and even like a Luke Kennard who played 14 minutes the other night and not having as much run off the bench, where players like Jake LaRavia who are taking some of those minutes as he continues to play so well. I know Desmond Bane led the team in shot attempts in their game over the Pacers, but that wasn't the case in a couple of the other games. You mentioned both Des and Luke as two things that we're used to seeing in terms of their efficiency, especially from the three-point line, that haven't transpired during this run for the Grizzlies. And as it pertains to Desmond Bane, getting back into a double-figure scoring night the other night in their win over the Pacers felt big. Any concern for you with Desmond Bane, or is this indicative of something that we have seen with him in the past where he goes through some small lulls but ultimately shoots his way out of it?
Yeah, I think he's going to be able to shoot his way out of it. You know, when I talked to him, you know, a couple games ago, you know, about he had sort of a breakthrough. He had 3 sort of subpar games when he first came back. Then he had that breakthrough game, you know, and then he went back down a little bit. And what he told me during that time was, listen, man, look, I have to trust not necessarily the results right now, but trust the work that I'm putting in. Because that's the same work I put in when I'm red hot, when I'm scoring the way I need to score, when I'm getting downhill. I'm not changing my routine as much as anything, but I'm just trusting in I'm trusting in the process of what I'm doing. And he said the coaches are also keeping him confident. The teammates are keeping him confident. The shots that he's taking and missing right now are the shots that he's obligated and expected to take in the offense, and he has to take them. At some point, they're going to start falling, and he's going to get his rhythm. And based on his track record, you have to trust him. And, you know, I trust Desmond Bane. I know that he's going to be – the Grizzlies are at their best when he's on the floor doing what he needs to do, and it's going to come back. But I think it's also – there's something to say about this team when as I put in the piece, when Desmond Bane and Luke Kennard aren't Desmond Bane and Luke Kennard in terms of their productivity normally, and you're still winning by 20, then you're okay. It's going to come around. You know, I mean, there's not a sense of desperation for this team right now. And there's a comfort level. They're starting to figure out who they are. And as Marcus said, borrowing a quote from the great Deion Sanders, we're coming, right? We're coming. At some point, you know, we're going to get there. But one thing about when you say we're coming, that's also you acknowledging that you're not there yet.
Right.
And this team had to acknowledge that we're not there yet. But I like the path that we're on right now, and I like the momentum that we're building along.
The player who I would argue has been there, and as you said, his availability has been huge, Jaren Jackson Jr. And we got our first tweet from Ja this season saying trip all-star as the rumblings start to grow that Jaren Jackson Jr. is playing at an all-star level. He's leading this team in assists, in steals, in blocks. He is doing it on both ends. I think something we haven't discussed a whole lot is that he has stayed on the court. When he had, I think it was either his first or his second foul against the Pacers the other night, Eric Hasseltine was on the broadcast, and he said, wow, it was late in the fourth quarter, and that was Jaren's first or second foul. Wasn't in foul trouble was the point. And it was funny because then I was down on the court waiting to do the walk-off interview, and Lang Whitaker came up to me, and he goes, hey, did you realize Jaren only got his first foul late in the game tonight? And I was like, yes, actually, we just talked about it on the radio broadcast. But just how big has Jaren been in helping this team steady itself through all the injuries, through the ups and downs of the early nature of the season, and now putting themselves in a position where they are one of these best teams in the West?
Yeah, I think you know, Ja and those guys, no disrespect for them, but they got to up their game a little bit. I mean, Jaren is an all-star already, right? I think this is all NBA territory that you're talking about. And, you know, all-star is one thing, you know what I mean? But when you're talking all NBA, then you're talking about contract, you know, metrics and things of that nature that are going to be impacted. And you're talking about, you know, supermax opportunities and all those kind of things when your next contract rolls around. And Jaren has shown nothing but the ability that he could be relied upon on this team. He started that last year. You know what I mean? When he played, when everyone else had to go through some injuries and some other issues, he stayed on the court as long as he possibly could. That made sense. during the season that was very painful. He took responsibility for it. He had his best offensive numbers last year, and now he's putting together the offense with the defense that we saw from 2 years ago when he was Block Panther and Defensive Player of the Year. So Jaren Jackson Jr. has been an all-NBA performer for this team. He's been the glue. I would say like this. The guy, and I mentioned this in the story in my column as well too, Jaren Jackson Jr., along with Santi Aldama, along with Jalen Wells, along with Scottie Pippen Jr. Those 4 guys, those 3-4 guys have been in every single game, for the most part this season. And their availability is what's, allowed the Grizzlies to get off to this kind of start. When you look at 14-7, third place in the West, and you're looking up at 2 teams that you're not afraid of. Like right now in the standings, you're looking up at Houston, a team that you feel like, hey, I have more continuity than those guys do. They beat us earlier in Houston, but they don't scare us. And then you're looking up at Oklahoma City, and you're like, what have they done that we haven't done yet? So, it's the teams behind the Grizzlies that tend to give them a lot more long-term problems than the ones in front of them right now. So if they could just keep playing like this. The schedule does get tougher, Jess. It definitely does get tougher in December. But if they can continue to have some level of consistency that we've seen, I think they're going to be okay.
Don't stop with all NBA. Let's start the MVP agenda while it's nice and early in the season. But
there you go, taking it
CJ,
too far.
It's never too far. It's never too far. But like you said, competition does get stiffer, and we have an NBA Cup game tonight, Mike. Grizzlies, Mavs, which outside of being an NBA Cup game is just an important division game. It's against another one of those Western Conference teams that you would love to go out and make a statement against. Sure, it's one thing to beat the Pacers and the Pistons and the Trailblazers and the Pelicans all in your own home, but to go into Dallas. And is Luka playing tonight? Do we know that yet?
I believe he is. He just came back in their last game and had 36 or whatever, and I believe he is, but we'll find out a little closer.
It's the Cup. That's what the Cup is for. The Grizzlies are technically alive in the Cup. Do you know the scenarios of what they need to do? All I know is they need to win by a lot, and then a couple other teams have to lose by a lot.
Yeah. Pete Pranica broke it down for us on the bus yesterday, coming to the hotel, and basically I got as far as the first sentence of the explanation, and that's win by 24 and get help. Right. So once you do that, then you can start looking at the other, whatever else has to happen. But technically, they are still mathematically alive, and it's a very, very low percentage. But more than anything, you just beat. If you win this game by 1 and you're eliminated from the Cup, that's fine. You got to beat Dallas on the road, because this is a team that you're going to probably have to go through at some point in the playoffs, and they're the defending Western Conference champion. This is a big week right here. You start your week, wrapping up a 4-game homestand undefeated. Then you come to Dallas to face the defending Western Conference champions. And then Friday, this coming weekend, you go to the defending NBA champions in Boston. So, you have a chance to face 2 teams that were in the NBA Finals in a stretch of 7 days while you're playing your best basketball of the season. I think that speaks more than anything else the Grizzlies can face this week.
Mike, we will see you and all your coverage from Dallas, and then we'll see you back in Memphis. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. And hey, listen, if you don't want to wear a T-shirt, don't wear a T-shirt.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you for your support.
TJ, do you have a T-shirt on under that?
I had one on, but you could see it, so I took the T-shirt off.
Oh, come on, man.
I took the T-shirt off for the show.
The early returns on the very official Instagram poll that I put up, where I asked only women to vote. Shirt under hoodie, 64% yes, 36% no.
Never
so
mind,
I'm not alone.
they're in agreement.
You're not alone.
30%? Come on now, stop.
Oh, when the women agree with you, you're into it.
Yeah, that's how it works, Jessica. We had an election about it. Mike, listen, if Jessica was your child, if she tried to leave the house with no T-shirt on underneath the hoodie, what would you say?
Hey, go back upstairs and put on not one, but 2 layers under that hoodie.
2 layers.
You're not going to wear a jacket.
There we go.
All right, we'll see you later, Mike. That was Mike Wallace. Be sure to check out his latest Mike Check up at grindcitymedia.com. When you said that, it just took me back to such a woman thing. I was going to a football game with my dad in Boise, a Boise State football game.
Bluefield, shout out.
Smurf Turf forever. And I forget who they were playing, but we were there, and I was in high school. And as any father of a high school girl knows, there is some time in your life where you have to tell your daughter to go put more clothes on. And it was like 30 degrees in Boise in the winter. And I came out in a tank top. And he goes, no, we're not doing this. And that just sent me back to those sweet memories.
It happens. I think that everybody has a, hey, go put more clothes on. And, hey, go take some of those off also, right? Like sometimes I would like to go outside in a hoodie.
Yeah.
It's summertime. I got a favorite hoodie. I'm going to go out like, oh, wait, you're going to run around, jump, and play in that, and then you're going to take it off, and then you're going to leave it wherever you take it off at. No. Take that off. It's summertime. You don't need no damn hoodie on. Hey, it's cold outside. Our basketball coach used to get on to us because after basketball games in like the 8th grade, we'd all want to just walk out in like flip-flops and the basketball shorts we just sweat in, and then just the basketball jersey, which also is covered in sweat and nothing else. He's like, yo, y'all are going to get sick, and then none of y'all are going to be able to play. Put something on. Take the wet clothes. Take the wet clothes off. Put on dry clothes. Put on sweatpants and long sleeve t-shirts, at least in a hat. At least.
That's why you wore, as a girl, that's why you wore the sports bra, so you could take your jersey off, and then you could be in the freezing cold after a game in your sports bra and your basketball shorts and your slides with your socks, and it was a look.
Stop the music.
It was a look.
Wait. In Colorado.
Yeah.
In Colorado. Y'all would play basketball.
Yes.
Multiple of you people.
Yes.
Would play, and by you people, I mean girls in Colorado.
Yes.
Multiples of you people.
Yes.
Play basketball.
Yes.
Just take the jersey off.
Yes.
And stand outside.
I mean, you like bring your coat. So then an even greater look was like your big puffer coat, a sports bra.
And nobody's parents said.
And slides.
Nobody's parents.
They
when you got in the
always
car,
did. They always said, "You're gonna get sick. You're sweaty. You're wet after the game. You're gonna get sick."
Nobody's parents, when you got in the car, choked the hell out of you.
Oh no!
Like shook you?
No. It was just the threat of you're gonna get sick, which didn't change anything. Oh my God. We have to talk to Will Coleman.
That's why your immune system is shot. It's been fighting for its life. Stop throwing things.
You threw a pen at me so perfectly yesterday. I missed with the cap.
Are you trying to compete with me?
Yeah, it didn't go very well. All right.
Now you're capless.
Hey, the Memphis Tigers. I am capless. Memphis Tigers. No cap. Memphis Tigers ranked 16th in the country. Yay. Raise the roof. They are. I'll raise the roof. They are ranked. They are 6-1. I think that's raise the roof worthy. Will Coleman is going to join us on the other side. We'll get his takes on their overall performance at the Maui Invitational. Plus, Penny Hardaway had his radio show last night, and he had some really nice comments about how he's grown into his role as head coach at the University of Memphis. We'll talk to Will about all that when we come back.
Laces, really bright yellow primary color. You got black on the trim and on the edges.
I gotta get 'em.
And you got some red there as well. Look at that right there, Mike. Look at that right there.
Man, look at that G. Look at that G, boy. That G is moving strong right there, too, man.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping.
It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
We're going to need, the form rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane 3. Yes, sir! Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy.
Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Looking for a fun way to get your child active and involved with the Memphis Grizzlies? Ball out on the Grizzlies home court at Junior Grizzlies Game Day Clinics. Presented by Ortho South. Get your game ready for the big leagues. The first Junior Grizzlies Clinic tips off November 25th before the Grizzlies versus Trailblazers game. Take your child's skills to the next level by signing up at grizzlies.com/Junior Grizzlies. That's grizzlies.com/Junior Grizzlies. Don't miss out.
D'Anthony Melton took my boys, my little guys, to the ice cream stand. He was like, I'm going to get ice cream. You want to go with? So he took my little guys to the ice cream stand. So, guess who their favorite player is now? John Morant. But outside of that, D'Anthony Melton's pretty high up on the list. How about this? We got youth small D'Anthony Melton jerseys at our house right now. Love D'Anthony Melton. That was a fun night.
It was a fun night, man.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Goldberg announces he's going to have a retirement match in 2025, and he said this on College Game Day.
We know you're trying to ride the coattails because the 2025 is supposed to be the year of John Cena. Goldberg, I have a message for you, my guy. We don't care about your retirement match. Your retirement match was 3 years ago. Go somewhere, go away.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back. I have two specific answers from the state of Colorado. If we could geographically separate this, both people from Colorado are on my side.
Okay, so it's just weirdos in Colorado.
I think it might be if you grew up someplace that is
It's not
of
cold.
that nature.
It's not cold because Mike grew up in the cold.
Yes, but Colorado is a specific kind of cold because it's cold, but it's often sunny. I think there's something there.
I think that your parents should have whooped y'all for coming out in just a coat and a sports bra. Like that's the thing that I think happened. I think your parents were like, no, we're not going to spank our kids. We're going to try and reason with these creatures, and y'all are ungovernable.
Creatures.
And so they should have whooped y'all for that, and then didn't.
All
and so
right.
y'all just grew up without putting things on underneath your hoodies, and now you're a grown up with a weakened immune system, and you're sickly right now, and it's cold outside, and you're just in here, hoodie, no t-shirt.
Will
Think
Coleman
about your
joins
partner.
us. Will Coleman joins us each and every Tuesday.
By partner, I mean me, not Chris. He'll be fine. He'll deal with you sickly. I won't deal with you sickly, Jessica. Fix it.
Partner's too close to work husband. Pick a different word.
Shift partner. Like
Shift buddy.
We have. Think about your shift buddy.
All right, shift buddy. I'll wear a t-shirt under my hoodies from now on, just for you. Will Coleman joins us every Tuesday. He is from his home office today, but you had to be here, Will, because the Memphis Tigers, they're 6-1. They're ranked 16th in the Associated Poll Press. Things are good for Memphis sports right now. Between Memphis basketball ranked, Memphis football ranked, Memphis Grizzlies on a 6-game winning streak. I don't think we've had this much cohesive success since like pre-pandemic times, since 2019.
Man, it might have been before that. I mean, because I remember back when I was in school, I mean, literally, it was just Memphis Tigers basketball. That's it. Grizzlies was we did go to I think we went to the conference final. I think the Grizzlies went to the conference finals. That was back when, I think we went to the conference final. We played this. I remember it like it was just we played the Spurs at home, not the conference finals, but maybe the semis or the
first round.
I can't remember. First round. Okay, first round.
Conference finals. Maybe the
Yes,
semis.
yes,
It was a great
calm
first
down.
round.
CJ's like, calm down. Relax, buddy.
It was the
Relax.
playoffs. It was the playoffs.
Buddy. Relax. But no, I think it's super good for the city, because obviously anything good with the sports program. Just let's be honest, anything great, any kind of great news coming out of Memphis is great news. I'm just gonna call it what it is. Call a spade a spade. We get some good news.
You're right. It was the conference finals. They did get the Spurs in the conference finals. I was wrong.
Okay, see?
So it went. I think it went Clippers, Thunder, Spurs.
Yeah.
I think. There you go, Will. You're right.
I remember because I had a buddy, DeJuan Blair was a buddy of mine. Also, DeJuan Blair plays basketball. Yeah, he also plays basketball with no MCLs, which is fascinating.
I remember that.
Yeah, but sports is, especially with the Tigers, we got a lot of sports fans here. Sports is the number one thing that brings the most unity out of everything. Everything, all the hate, all the racism, whatever you want to call it, man, everything goes out the window and everybody come together for sports, man. So to see all the Memphis sports on the same page right now, it's super great.
We last caught up with you last Tuesday. Memphis had beaten UConn in their first game at the Maui Invitational. They then beat Michigan State. They went to the championship game where they fell to Auburn. Auburn is a very, very, very good basketball team this season, but going 2-1 in Maui, you're now 6-1 overall through your non-conference schedule thus far. The next game is against Louisiana Tech on Wednesday, tomorrow, here at home. But what was your overall takeaway from this team's performance in Maui?
I mean, amazing. Everything we have bickered about or we've had trouble with, they just blew it out the water. Me and CJ, every year, I love talking about it, but I mean, 3-point percentage was not an issue down in Maui. It was something that was consistent. It was great. The guys played hard together. And it was in all honesty, the way you look at it, it was a lose-lose situation in terms of our play, because if we go down there, we beat UConn. Then UConn overrated. We get down there, Izzo supposedly gonna run us out the gym. We beat Izzo. Then it turns into, Michigan State not that good. Well, it's like, damn, what else y'all want? Then we go play the best team in the country. We get blown out. Now everybody's saying, okay, there's the Memphis Tigers that we know. Now, like, people that scream like this, I have a hard time not screaming at people or fighting with people that don't know basketball, because it's like to go to a tournament like that with that kind of talent and to go 2-1, that's not easy. It's not easy. And some people can't handle it well, i.e. Dan Hurley.
Three games in 3 days, like going 2-1 against really good competition. Right. Like you said, Will, that isn't easy, but it is early in the season. The season has yet to be played. We still think a lot about what these teams are. We don't really know. The good thing about the wins over UConn and Michigan State is traditionally those programs come late January, early February. We know, they're good programs, and I would expect that to happen again this year. This doesn't feel like, who did the Tigers beat? Was it Ole Miss or Missouri last year or 2 years ago, where that team was ranked and then Memphis beats them and then they just sort of fall apart the rest of the season, and that win loses some of its luster. It doesn't feel like the wins over Michigan State and UConn will lose a whole bunch of luster. Those will still be quad 1 wins, and those will probably be wins. At least one of those teams, when it's all said and done, will probably be ranked late in the season. Probably both of them, though. And Auburn, Jessica has pointed it out a time or two, might be the best team in the nation. So there's no shame in losing to them on the third day of a game. What surprised you the most about the Tigers during the Maui Invitational Tournament? Maui.
Now, it sounded like you tried to say Maui and Hawaii at the same time.
I did.
Maui.
Like I had a little Wally thing going on. But no, what stood out to you the most? What surprised you the most about the Tigers?
The aggression. I can't remember or recall the last time Penny has had a team. We've had talented teams. We've had great teams. But I can't remember a team being that aggressive since we've had Penny Hardaway as our head coach. He went to the NIT, did his thing. I think that was his second year, maybe. We had Duran and Bates. We had a lot of talent. But the aggression that Hunter and Haggerty brought to this team, and everybody followed suit, was amazing. Danger, showed his ass. Great footwork, played well. Cisse, I think he played phenomenal. I think the energy from those two guys, the core, Haggerty and Hunter, I think everybody else saw how aggressive they were playing and saw what it was doing to every single team, and everybody followed suit. And I think that was the number one thing that stood out. Outside of three-point shooting, of course. I think the aggression that those two brought with everyone else following was one of the most impressive things I've seen from one of these Tiger teams under Penny Hardaway.
Well, and it sounds like those are the kind of players that Penny Hardaway went out and intentionally recruited in the transfer portal and bringing in, and you lose everyone but one guy from last year's team. That was a hefty feat to go out and bring in a new team. But he said last night at his radio show he's looking for a defensive-minded group. He was also looking at a group who had high character, who cared about the city. And I thought Penny's comments from last night have been making the rounds, and I thought they were pretty insightful when it comes down to it. And he talked about, the dark days of not making the NCAA tournament, of having to learn from the experiences, learning that he needed to do more. And this is what he said specifically. He said, I started saying this year that if I would have had a couple years of being an assistant and understanding what this business was like, because this is a totally different business than you could ever understand. And I promise you, it's not as easy as you think. It would have been different for me. Just for me personally, it was an opportunity to check myself and say, hey, it's time for you to grow up. It's time for you to get this done because you know you can get it done. And I came back with a renewed mindset and was ready to go. I love that. What's your takeaway from hearing that from Penny and this changed mentality going into this season?
It's gonna sound crazy, but it sound like it's a two-way street. One, it sound like that the university is kind of starting to trust Penny and let him do his thing, but also on the other side, it looks like Penny is starting to. I don't know what his personal life looked like, but I would imagine somebody like Penny has to stay heavily guarded, just from his NBA days, who he lets in his circle, who he trusts, especially with all this stuff. Somebody's been trying to throw Penny under the bus for years. We know this with all the allegations, letters, people reaching out. It's sounding like he's starting to let a few people in his circle. He's starting to take accountability and listen to some people, and he's just maturing and growing up, man. And I think that's how you grow. That's how you get better, and constantly wanting to learn and soak the game up like a sponge in any aspect of life, not even just basketball, but personally as well. And I think his podcast that he's starting is maybe shedding some light on some things. You have some other people in there who can share some stories and share some light on some things that's not necessarily in Penny's circle, but can drop some gems, and Penny can pick and choose like, oh man, that was really insightful. Just being around like-minded people and willing to be open to hear what other people has to say. I think it's showing on his behalf and on the team's behalf.
Yeah, totally agree. And it was nice to hear. It's been nice to see this team start, and everybody understands too. A nice start, it doesn't cut it. Like, this team was ranked, I think, all the way up to 10th last year in the AP poll. Started 15-2, and then the wheels fell off. Thus far, though, what gives you the most confidence that this year can be different? Because once they do get to AAC play, there's very little room for error. Not one of their matchups in conference play will be a quad one opportunity. So any of those losses look bad. The AAC is bad, Will. How can Memphis ensure that they are the best team within that conference?
Win them. Everything else take care of itself. You win them all. Because I just even think, just sitting here right now off the top of there shouldn't be a team that, the way we played in Maui, it shouldn't be a team in our conference that should be able to bang with us and play with us. Now, in sports, sometimes teams play to the level of their competition and things, we have some slip-ups, but you got to go into every game ready to beat the dog mess out of every single person that come in front of you. You just got to. That leaves out any question, that leaves out any, if this team win, this team got to lose, we got to win by this, yada, yada. Just beat everybody, and it'll take care of itself.
We see Gonzaga do that time and time again in the, West Coast Conference, where they
soon to be Mountain West.
Well, for now, the West Coast Conference, where they just run wild in that conference. And so, to Will's point, it leaves no doubt. It's like, okay, Gonzaga is a team that is worthy of, deserving of a chance to play in March, in the big dance in March. And now it doesn't hurt Gonzaga either that they've had a lot of success and that they play some of these higher profile out of conference games, and they compete at a really high level. And in a large portion of the cases, they win those games, right? Memphis has done that. That's the formula if you're one of these good programs in a mid-major conference. You have to get some wins over top-tier competition in the out-of-conference. Memphis has done that, getting the win over UConn and the win over Michigan State. And now it is, okay, you just can't slip up. As tough as that is and as harsh as that might seem for you, we see Gonzaga do it. Like, that's the blueprint. You can do that. You should be thinking of yourself, hey, we're the Gonzaga of the East or whatever, of the Southeast, whatever region you want, Mid-South, whatever
American,
region.
damn it.
Whatever region you want to claim. And you got to run through your conference. You can't afford slip-ups.
You can't. It's way too important, man. Way too important. Because it sucks. I know I've said it before. It sucks because if you win them, it's like, man, that's Memphis. They supposed to win. But if you lose, then it's like, nah, y'all not supposed to lose that. We're going to hold it over your head. Come Selection Sunday, we're going to penalize you for it.
Well, thanks for joining us. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. We'll see you next week.
You too. See y'all next week.
Will Coleman joins us each and every Tuesday. CJ, what's the first Christmas movie that comes to your mind?
That comes to my mind?
Yeah. Like when you think Christmas movie, what's the number one?
I would, any of the Charles Dickens adaptations, any
Christmas Story?
A Christmas Carol.
A Christmas Carol, excuse
Yeah,
me.
any of those. Now, the first one I watch is A Muppets Christmas Carol. That's the first one. The last one is always A Christmas Story. That's the last Christmas movie I watch.
Did you follow any of the Muppets drama from Disney World last week?
No. What do you mean Muppets drama?
They're closing the Muppets Vision ride,
Yeah,
which was Jim Henson's last project that he ever worked on, and they're turning it into more of a Monsters, Inc. area in Hollywood Studios, or whatever they call that
Is it
park.
Disney World or Land?
Disney World.
Okay.
So it used to be MGM Studios,
Yeah.
which was the movie focused on back in my day, and now I think it's Disney Studios. I always forget, but it's the one where they have Rise of the Resistance, Star Wars World.
Gotcha.
They're having more Monsters Inc. They have Tower of Terror, but they're changing Rock and Roller Coaster from Aerosmith to the Muppets. So that's where they're moving the Muppets. So it'll now be the Muppets Rock and Roller Coaster, and we don't know what it'll look like yet. But people were devastated about the Muppets Vision part of it.
Oh, because of the connection to Jim
Yes.
Henson. I understand.
People were
that.
very upset.
I understand that.
All right, there's your Muppets update for
Did you wait?
the
What's
day.
the movie that you think of?
Like, if you say Christmas movie, I think of Elf.
Okay.
Which is so weird. It's not my first Christmas movie I watched. It's not the Christmas movie that I watch the most often. But that's just where my brain goes right now. And maybe it's because you're just wearing this hat. And
Maybe.
it makes me think of Buddy.
Maybe. Home Alone is another good
Yeah.
one. Home Alone is one that's, if it's not one, it's right there at
A Christmas Story is right there at 2 for me. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll do some TV Tuesday. We will talk about Monday Night Football, which is a TV show that I watched last night as the Broncos beat the Browns. Another TV show, the College Football Playoff Rankings show, will be tonight. Oh boy. I love a rankings show. We'll get into what we're watching as well. I am so behind on TV. CJ has a couple shows he's been into. We'll get into all that when we come back.
Every time you go to Miami, you can go see, like, that's a statue of me there.
No, I don't look nothing like that thing, man. Look, I'm sorry.
I would have been offended.
Look at that. That is UTA.
Oh my God.
Oh, look. Hey, y'all got to get that screenshot, man. Put that on the
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
D'Anthony Melton took my boys, my little guys, to the ice cream stand. He was like, I'm going to get ice cream. You want to go with? So he took my little guys to the ice cream stand. So, you know, guess who their favorite player is now? John Morant. But outside of that, you know, D'Anthony Melton's pretty high up on the list. How about this? We got youth small D'Anthony Melton jerseys at our house right now. Love D'Anthony Melton. That was a fun night.
It was a fun night, man.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
It's the top 5 worst teams in the NFL. I think the Panthers are the worst team in the NFL.
I got the Saints number 1. Ha ha ha! Let's put the Aints up there. They're terrible.
I'll take the Titans as my worst team in the NFL.
If they played Will Levis, they're for sure the worst team. Maybe in NFL history. Might be worse than the 0-16 Lions if they play Will Levis.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com. Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Yellow laces, really bright yellow primary color. You got black on the trim and on the edges.
I gotta get 'em.
And you got some red there as well. Look at that right there, Mike. Look at that right there.
Man, look at that G. Look at that G, boy. That G is moving strong right there, too, man.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Welcome back. Wow, I don't know why I said it like that. CJ tried to call someone during the break and ask if she wears a
Don't say
t-shirt
someone.
under
Kyra. That's why she'll never direct this show again.
Kyra.
She'll never direct it again.
Why?
Because she said no. She said no, she doesn't wear a t-shirt under her hoodie.
You were so confident.
So
the
sure.
The first person when we had this conversation before the show, before we even brought this conversation
I knew my
onto the
dog
show,
wasn't gonna let me
you go,
down.
I'm gonna call Kyra, and I said, no, Kyra's my girl. Kyra's got this. And you said, no.
She's a weirdo like you. Bridget, my real girl in the chat, the homie Bridget wears a t-shirt.
Oh, we're closer. We're at 59-41.
It's
pretty split.
Yes, it's not that split. It's been up for like 2 minutes, and it's what, 20 people voted?
Some people hate sweat on fleece. I can't make that excuse. I didn't think about that, but it makes sense. Like sweaty fleece. Ew. Ooh,
So they wear a
gross.
t-shirt. Or don't wear a t-shirt. I hate
Great
sweat
point.
on fleece, therefore I'm going to wear a t-shirt to keep the sweat off of the fleece. Got you.
But
again, that's
exception, cropped sweatshirts, and this is a cropped sweatshirt.
why are you
that
wearing
people can't tell.
why are you wearing a cropped sweatshirt?
'Cause it's
It's 29 degrees outside.
Because it's cute.
Oh God.
Monday Night Football was cute last night. Broncos 8-5 after beating the
8-5.
Browns 41-32. Jameis Winston is praying to the Lord to deliver him from pick sixes. This was Jameis Winston following last night's Jameis of all Jameis performances. He threw for 497 passing yards, which is a Cleveland Browns single game record. That's 20 fewer passing yards than Tom Brady's Monday Night Football record. But Jameis, along with the 497 passing yards, also threw 3 interceptions, 2 of them being pick sixes. He is the first player to ever have 450 passing yards or more with multiple picks one game. This was Jameis after the loss.
I know I'm better than this. I know. I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from pick sixes.
I think the Lord has other things going on. I think you should just own it. This is who I am. I'll throw close to 500 yards. But I'm also going to lose you the game.
He's so frustrating because he will throw for 500 yards,
Yes.
right? But he's also going to hit you with 4 or 5 interceptions in a game, not in a season, in a game. That year, he set the record for most interceptions in a season. If you take the interceptions to the side, if you don't scroll all the way to the side on the stat sheet, you're like, holy cow, this dude threw for all of the yards and all of the touchdowns. All of them. I don't think we've ever seen a quarterback like this, where it's
polarizing.
be that good and that bad at the same time in the same game. And I know we've never seen a quarterback do this. This was Jameis. The player comps went out. It's like, this was when I was like, oh no, I don't know if I can watch this. They did the quarterback side by side player comparison, and Jameis is over here doing the most random of things. It's incredibly stupid what my man is doing out there. I don't know why he is this way. And talking about the Lord to deliver you from interceptions, good grief. He doesn't. That's not how Jesus and them work.
He hasn't
What are you
even
talking
delivered
about?
us from evil yet.
Come on,
let's
man.
get through the easy part. Deliver us from evil. And then
Maybe it's going to happen though. How long? He delivered the Jewish people from Egypt, but then how long did they wander in the desert?
Wasn't it a very long time?
It was a very long time. I feel
my biblical facts are lacking a bit.
Years he allowed them to wander the desert. Everything in me wants to say 70, but that can't be right. That's not right. But yeah, so maybe the Lord is taking his time delivering Jameis from the pick sixes.
In the meantime,
40 years.
40
Thank you, Tommy.
years.
40.
Who gave us that answer?
Tommy Stevenson in the chat.
Thank you, Tommy.
He wandered. The Jewish people wandered the desert for 40 years, and they complained every step of the way. I completely understand why the good Lord made them wander like that.
It was funny because I had a couple tight fantasy football games last night, and I was playing the Broncos defense, and in 2 of them I was playing against David Njoku, and Njoku had 2 touchdowns in the first half, and I was starting to get a little nervous. I had a pretty good cushion, but I kept telling myself, I kept believing that Jameis Winston would throw at least another pick, and I fell asleep early in the third quarter. Oh, there's Jameis doing the Jameis dance. I knew this man would help the Broncos defense have me win both of those games. That's what I'm going to say. And it was correct, because that's ultimately how I won, was the 2 pick sixes from Jameis. Won one of them thanks to a fine night from Bo Nix. It was not Bo Nix's best game, but it was his second most passing yards of his young career. That touchdown pass to Mims was real nice. And the best thing that Bo Nix has been for the Broncos.
The 93-yarder?
93-yarder. It was a dart. The best thing Bo Nix has been for this Broncos team is he has been good enough to not detract from a very, very, very good Broncos defense that has led this team to an 8-5 start. I don't think they will make a deep run in the playoffs, but I think they very well could be making the playoffs this season. And shout out to Bo Nix. I know I have been up and down and all around on the Bo Nix train, but it started on when no one else believed in Bo. I believed. But what I really believe is just he's been solid. And he doesn't have to be the offensive rookie of the year. I know so many people want to have the conversation between him and Jaden Daniels. This is what we do. We love a battle between rookie quarterbacks. If you want to actually talk about a battle coming off of Brock Bowers' last game, I think that is a legitimate argument to be had, because Brock Bowers has been awesome. He is on a stinky, stanky Raiders team, but he has been spectacular. I saw a stat last night. The only 3 players who have more yards this year than Brock Bowers are Chase, CD, and who's the third?
Jefferson.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
And Brock Bowers, your rookie tight end in Las Vegas. But I'm happy with this Broncos team, and they're a fun team to watch.
If you can get Patrick Mahomes, absolutely, you go get Patrick Mahomes. If you can get Lamar Jackson, go get Lamar Jackson. If you can get Josh Allen or Joe Burrow, go ahead, go get one of those guys. But listen, we don't make a lot of them, so you're not going to get one of those. What you should be able to get, though, is a quarterback who can, 1, get you a first down or 2 on a drive, and 2, not turn the ball over. If you can get a quarterback who does that, you can find yourself being 8-5. And that's what Bo Nix has done a really, really good job of this season. I didn't think he would be this good at taking care of the football when he got to the NFL. I felt like he could get frazzled, rattled in the pocket, and would just put the ball up for grabs. And to start the season, he did do that a time or 2. That's Will Levis's problem right now. Like, the difference between Bo Nix and Will Levis,
decision making.
That's it. And you can make a good decision 19 times, but if you make 3 bad decisions, that's what lends itself and leads itself to you losing games. And that's what the difference is right now between those 2 quarterbacks and between Bo Nix and a lot of guys right now in the NFL. I think Sean Payton has done a much, much better job of protecting Bo Nix and saying, "Hey, Bo, we're not going to allow for you to have to make that decision on whether or not to push the ball down the field or not, we'll make the decision for you with the plays that we're calling. I think that if you can get a quarterback like that who's going to take care of the ball, you're in a pretty good spot. And when you look at the teams who are in the playoff picture right now, I would say all of, if not most of them, have quarterbacks who are simply just not turning the ball over, right? Like that's what they're doing a good job of.
The college football playoff rankings show is tonight, coming off of the chaos of rivalry weekend. We won't have a long conversation about it now because we will have one tomorrow, I am sure, when we find out what the committee does. But CJ, we'll each give our prediction of who gets that 12th spot from the committee. This is not it. Obviously, the conference championship games have to be played. But what does your top 12 look like here tonight?
Guess that last spot is of everything else is solidified.
Yes, it's Alabama, Miami, Ole Miss, South Carolina, and the loser of the Big 12 championship
does the
game.
loser
But
of the Big 12
I don't think the loser of the Big 12 is even in the conversation.
Has a conversation. I don't think South Carolina should be in the conversation.
I think they're the most interesting one because I think they're playing the best right now.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
But they have the losses to Alabama and Ole Miss, and I struggle to put them in because of that. I'm with you.
So they play, for those who might not know, South Carolina played Alabama. They played Ole Miss. They lost to both. It was a close one against Alabama, but Ole Miss beat the hell out of South Carolina. So to me, it's down to three teams. It's down to Miami, Ole Miss, Alabama. All of them have atrocious losses, like really bad losses on their schedule, at least one. Ole Miss losing to Kentucky is, oh boy,
unforgivable.
That is that's a 4-8 Kentucky team. That's a 4-8 Kentucky team with one win in the SEC, and that one win is against you on your home field. So that's not a good look for Ole Miss. Also, if we look at a common opponent, Ole Miss and Alabama both had to play LSU at night, and Ole Miss got handled, and Alabama ended up handling LSU. So I think that's enough for me to put Ole Miss out. Now it becomes Alabama or Miami. I think Alabama's sitting there with more good wins than Miami when it's all said and done. And Miami's losses they're not to great teams, right? Neither are Alabama's, let me be clear. Losing to Vanderbilt and losing to Oklahoma, that's not good either. But I would lean more towards Alabama because of the win at Georgia, because of the win at LSU, and I feel like they've got another one, and the win against South Carolina, right? They've got 3 good wins. They got 2 bad losses, but they got 3 good wins. Miami is sitting there without a good win and 2 bad losses.
What's their best win? Louisville?
Is it Florida?
Florida to start the season?
Louisville is a good win.
Louisville's an okay win.
I would give Louisville a nice little nod there. But yeah, where it's... And I guess
Louisville's 8-4 and 4th in the ACC.
I think 8-4 is fine.
Okay.
8-4 is fine. What is Syracuse? Syracuse 7-5? I think they're 7-5.
No, they're 9-3.
Also,
yeah.
So
Syracuse is a fine loss.
Maybe that's a fine. So they only got 1 bad loss. Miami has been playing with fire all year, as well. I lean towards Alabama in that situation.
We'll see what the committee decides. I can't wait. Are you watching anything good right now? Because I am so behind on TV, I can't take another recommendation.
English Teacher, I think is the name of that show. It follows it's on FX, so if you got the Hulu, you can watch it. It follows a high school English teacher who is Latin. I do believe he is Colombian and gay. I only know that because some issues pop up and people are telling him, hey, lean on your minority status to get out of trouble. It is, I know you said you were taking a break from the politics of it all right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this show, while trying to discuss pertinent things happening in the world, I think it does a good job of that without delving too much into the politics of it all. There's an episode I'm behind on it, but there's an episode, and I won't give too much away, where it's the Powerpuff game. And so the football players are going to be cheerleaders. The cheerleaders are going to play football. There are a very small group of kids who are like, hey, we don't want the football players dressing up as cheerleaders, and the football players are really excited about it. They're like, well, what they're basically doing is they're doing drag, but they're not really doing drag. They're doing a bad representation of it. They're stereotyping, and we don't like that. That makes us uncomfortable. My man goes out, finds a buddy of his who is an actual drag queen who teaches the football players to do drag. That person is also a awful human being, right? And so all types of shenanigans end up popping off from there.
That's funny.
So it does in that episode, and I think throughout the course of the series, they do a good job of saying, hey, here's this marginalized group who we should probably protect. But let's not pretend like there aren't really bad people also in this marginalized group. But just because though there are bad people in this marginalized
they're
group
all bad
doesn't
people.
mean that we need to punish the whole group for
Right.
it, right? So it does a good job of towing that line, walking that line. You would really enjoy it.
I've
Could be
heard
a
really good
workout show
things.
for you.
Yeah.
It's 30 minutes episodes, I think. It's something that I'm watching. Papa's House is something that I'm also continuing to make my way through. They finally introduced the kids and the mother of Junior on the show. In the last episode that I saw, I'm also watching what's the other thing that I sent? Jacob, throw it up there. I can't remember what I'm watching. One of these other shows.
Jacob doesn't know what you're watching either.
There we go. Man on the Inside.
I heard this show is very funny.
If you like The Happy Place, The Good Place,
The Good Place.
I think you'll love this show. My wife, we're 2 episodes in. Ted Danson is starring in it. The premise is here's this older man who we need to serve as a spy in this retirement home or retirement community.
Yes.
And then all types of shenanigans end up popping off from there. My wife laughed audibly like 3 or 4 times in the first episode.
I feel like
and she
this is a
loves The Good
sign.
Place.
Because someone who I follow on TikTok who watches everything and gives like a 1-word review, that was their #1 recommendation of last shows that they started watching last month that they would recommend continuing into this month. I am just really behind. I haven't been able to just sit down and watch TV other than sports. Obviously, 'tis the season with the holiday weekend. There was football on every single day. And I had every intention of catching up on something yesterday afternoon. I never got to the decision-making process because my mom sent me the link for a memorial service of Gavin Creel, who I talked about on this show. He's an actor. He's a huge name in Broadway. Never really crossed over into mainstream celebrity. He was in the Eloise movie and the Eloise at Christmas Time, and that has a cult following, so some people know him from that. But most of all, he's a Broadway guy. And I was really sad when he died. He died fairly suddenly of cancer. He was 48 years old. It was a really aggressive cancer. It happened quickly. And they did a memorial for him at the St. James Theater in New York yesterday, and they live streamed it. And I am both so grateful that they live streamed it, but also was so devastated that they live streamed it. I don't think I've ever cried so hard over a celebrity death. Like, I was in shambles watching this sweet, sweet memorial service. 2 of the best eulogies that I've ever seen. One of them came from Sarah Bareilles, the singer. She's Broadway too. Yes, because you asked for it, because you need one. You see, I'm not going to write you a love song. And you're taking it, make or breaking it, because you're on your way. I'm not going to write you to say. Anyway, she was so funny. I love a funny eulogy, and because it's a heartbreaking thing, and people cared so much for this guy. If there is anything that I realized, it is that the assumptions of who Gavin Creel was as a person, having watched him as a performer, seemed to be how he was in real life. Just somebody who everybody loved, and the other big tribute came from an actress named Celia Keenan-Bolger, who's a big name on Broadway. If you happen to see the To Kill a Mockingbird revival, she played Scout in that, but she was one of his best friends. And I have never seen somebody just have such a moving tribute. I was taking notes. Like, it's a weird thing to do during a memorial service, but I was taking notes because I wanted to remember what she was saying because I thought it was so beautiful. And one of the things she referenced was an ancient Hawaiian practice used to improve our relationship with ourselves and the reminder of the connectivity of all of us in this world. And it was just repeating to yourself, every day, once a day, however many times a day, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And I thought it was such a beautiful thing. Like, we all make mistakes, we all do things that we're not always 100% proud of, but you should always love yourself, you should always be proud of yourself, and you should always thank yourself, because we're all just trying to make it in this world. And life is so, so short, which is such a cliche, but is so beyond true. And it ended with a performance from Gavin Creel was in a production of Hair, and when he passed, I told the story that my mom was obsessed with this man because he was so hot. Like, he was another one of those gay men that many of us fell in love with in the theater and chased with no avail. One, because he's a celebrity and I never knew him, but two, because he liked men. But there was an interview that was circulating where he had said, and this was long before his terminal diagnosis, it was just a casual conversation he was having about his performance in Hair, and he said, one day when I die, I hope that I have another opportunity to do this show with all of these people that I loved. And the whole cast of Hair showed up at this memorial service and sang along with the track of Gavin Creel singing Let the Sunshine In, which is a song many people know. Puddles. Like, useless. I was just searching on social media, Gavin Creel memorial service, so I could find other people talking about this memorial service who were crying along with me. And I know this is so niche, but it was beautiful. It was only up for the duration of the memorial service, but people are clamoring for it to be put up somewhere where people can go and access it, because it really was beautiful. But yeah, so today, I don't think there's another memorial service that I'll be tapping into. I don't cry over celebrity deaths. And Chris
You cry over everything.
No, I really don't.
Okay.
I guess I do.
You cried in whatchamacallit?
I cried in Wicked 3 times.
Yes,
I can't wait to talk to you about Wicked.
My wife cried in Wicked also.
See, that wasn't a special cry. Everybody cried in Wicked. I feel like if you're someone who cries at everything, you have to cry at things that other people don't cry at.
Okay. All right.
Is that fair?
No, I haven't cried in a decade.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Do you need to talk?
I have good emotional regulation skills.
That's not how that works.
Yes,
That
it
is
is.
absolutely not how that works.
That's how it works, Jessica.
All right, it's a Grizzlies game day. We got to get out of here because it's the cup.
Oh, joy.
I've always said I love the cup.
Mm.
I only started loving the cup after the Grizzlies got their first ever cup win.
Yeah, I know a couple of girls who love cups also. 2 of them specifically.
It's Grizzlies, Mavs tonight, 7:30. We'll be back tomorrow morning, hopefully talking about a 7th straight Grizzlies win. We'll see you then. Bye. You're exhausting.
Algier suspended 3
Exhausting.
games.
Wow.
They suspended him. They said repeat offender.
Not surprising.
I didn't know.
Based on how people were talking about
I didn't
the
know he
hit
was a
on Trevor
repeat
Lawrence.
offender. They hit on Trevor. Go down, slide, and if you're not going to slide,